up, Paisani, and welcome to another episode of Big Mamas Gather right here live on Instagram. This is episode number 34. Now, before I start, I just want to thank everyone for your well wishes. If you notice my posts, I post two anniversaries for the reason because February 17 is the day I met my husband, and we were inseparable since the day we met. And July 17 is the day we got married, but between the two, there's 9.5 years. But nonetheless, we celebrate both because it's the day that both our lives changed, and we've come a long way. So today marks 20 years that I met my husband, and we've been together ever since. We've been through it all, highs and lows, good and bad. But we stuck through it. We believed in each other, and we had a strong enough connection and love to last this long. I just want to congratulate my husband and happy anniversary to him. And it's been 20 years, but over the 20 years, every month on the 17th, we wish each other happy anniversary. So I guess that's what keeps it fresh and keeps it alive. We remind each other of the day that we met, and that we show our love and affection. And he brought me beautiful roses today, which was very nice. So now we're gonna get into business, into my show tonight, my episode. Tonight we're gonna be talking a bit about something that is not talked about very often. Most of us have ancestors and grandparents, great-grandparents, or even parents that immigrated to Canada or the U.S. or Australia. Hi, Franco Cooking. It's not spoken about how hard it was for Italian immigrants to come to a new land, a new language, a new culture, a new environment, just to make their life better. And I find that today's immigration is not the same, or it's being discriminated against. And I wanted to talk about this with someone who brought up the subject, and his name is Vincenzo. I was going to say Vinny, but it's Vincenzo. So we're going to invite Vincenzo on soon because he works with immigrants and he helps them find jobs, buy homes, and show them the path to a better life. So we're just going to talk about this. Now, again, people, before we get into this conversation, I just want to say that we're just talking to discuss a specific topic. It's what we have as an opinion. It's not carved in stone. So I would really appreciate that if you're not empathetic to the subject, that you not express your negative comments. There's always trolls out there, I know that, but it's fine. But again, this is just to inform, this is just for entertainment, but it's also to raise awareness. So let's invite Vincenzo on, and we will discuss the immigration topic tonight. So let's see where he is. Here he is. We're going to in the States. He's in the U.S., by the way. I'm in Canada. He's in the U.S. Hi, Vincenzo. How are you?
Ciao. Good. How are you?
I'm good. So
Good.
where are you exactly right now? You're in the States? I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm in the States, actually in Ohio.
You're in Ohio. Okay.
Yes.
So like I said in my introduction, we're going to talk about the immigration topic. First of all, because our ancestors immigrated from Italy and Sicily to U.S. or Canada or Australia or, mostly everywhere around the world.
Right.
There was a lot of prejudice against Italians, and I've seen posts that some stores actually had a sign saying no Italians are welcomed here, no work for Italians. They were
Right.
shunned, they were frowned upon. And even today, I'm in Quebec, I'm in Canada, and even today there are certain Quebecers, locals, that have a prejudice against Italians because they became so successful. I mean, these
Hmm.
people came with a suitcase and not even
Right.
a cent to their name, and now they own buildings, they own properties, they own companies, and they're very successful. And some people just don't accept that, and they don't like it. They don't like the fact that they made it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I want you to expand on your thoughts of this.
Yeah. I mean, my grandparents immigrated from Sicily, late 20s, so I'm second generation born here. And then I actually left the country and lived in Mexico City for 6 years. So I was an immigrant for 6 years in another country. And then when I returned, I dedicated my time to help immigrants here in the US. So it's a little disheartening to me sometimes when I hear, not all, but I hear some Italian Americans talk negatively about immigrants that are here currently. And it's just recently it's been disheartening to me because I said this isn't who we are as a community, and there's just so many people that are here working hard, working several jobs, doing the same exact thing that my grandparents did.
Exactly.
And yeah,
I've heard this firsthand, comments of people saying, because right now here in Canada, there's a lot of immigrants that are Algerian, that are Muslim, that are Lebanese, that are Moroccan. And I've heard the comments, and it kind of like took me back, where they're like, "Oh, look at them! They're popping kids just to get a government check, or
right,
they're spending their days at McDonald's because they don't work or they got nothing to do, and we're paying for them to be here and live comfortably." We shouldn't judge on assumption, and
hmm
not everyone. There's probably a minority, of course, one
right,
percenter or whatever, but we shouldn't put everyone in the same pile, because there are people here that work, that
hmm
are fending for themselves, and they're doing the same thing our parents and grandparents did. I mean, they're living 3, 4 families in one
right,
house to make ends meet, and everyone just puts their paycheck on the table and they pay the bills.
right,
So I want to raise awareness about the
hmm
stereotype that these immigrants are only here to benefit from the government money, because it's not the case. I mean, most, like 90% of orderlies and healthcare workers are immigrants. And if it
hmm
wouldn't be for them, we would not be taken care of if we're hospitalized.
right,
So we
right,
have to realize that we got to give them credit. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. And I
correct.
think that the majority of them are here to do better, and to make a better life for themselves and their children, just like our parents and grandparents did for us.
Correct. Yeah, no, and I, what you touched on the subject about, several different families living in the same house. So I also do public health work, and so we've seen recently that a lot of this is one of the reasons why immigrants, in particular the Hispanic community in the United States, has been disproportionately affected by COVID. Because when you have 3 or 4 different family groups living in one house with multiple people leaving the house to go to essential jobs, it puts them at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like you said, just raising awareness to the fact that, um, yeah, not lumping everyone into this same group. And of course, there are individuals that probably are not, doing the right thing. But that's with it, with anyone. And I think, like for example, I had a doctor's appointment the other day with my dermatologist, who's African American, and I made a comment to her that the largest mass lynching in the United States was actually Sicilians in Louisiana. She had no idea.
You
So I
see.
think that, a lot of us need to, it's not, remember those things. A lot of this stuff happened to our ancestors. And, I think for me, luckily, it was a good eye opener for me to be able to actually live in another country.
Yeah, you
And so I,
experienced it firsthand rather than hearing the
right,
story like I did from my parents, how that when they immigrated, they didn't know the language, they didn't know the streets, they didn't know the country, and they had to adapt in order to make ends meet and survive. And at the same time, I don't know if it's the case for your grandparents, but they were sending money back home,
yeah,
so they could eat too.
hmm
So that's a
yeah,
lot of pressure on a young person. I mean, they came here as late teens, early adults, and they
mhm,
had to pull up their pants and tighten their belts because
yeah,
they had mouths to feed. But we tend to forget this. And another thing that I wanted to say is that yes, there's a lot of attention on the Haitian community, the Black Lives Matter movement, and all
hmm
that, and obviously the Holocaust. Really showed the world the torture that the Jews went through. But we shouldn't forget that as Italians, we went through that too, and it's not
yes,
spoken of. We were discriminated. We were treated badly. We were shunned and
hmm
turned away, but it doesn't seem to be spoken about. And I think we
hmm
should either do the research and get educated, or if we know about it, to speak about it, because we didn't have it easy.
No.
I mean, I had it easy because my parents made it easy for me.
Ex-
But for them, it was really hard. I mean, I hear stories of my parents. I mean, my father's going to be 90 in 2 weeks, and my mom's 82. And I hear stories where they used to sleep on the kitchen floor. So every night they had to take out the kitchen table, put their
mm,
mattress, and then in the morning take out the mattress, put back the kitchen table. That's how crowded it was. I mean, there were like
right.
10 people in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And they did that for a long period of time. So I mean, these are things that we seem to either forget or
Mm.
not give credit. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for them in those days, but it's also not easy for the new immigrants today. It's almost the same situation, just different times.
Yeah, it is, and I think me personally, when I'm helping these immigrants better their lives, and sort of assimilate as much as they can, I feel like I'm helping my grandparents, because they passed for the same experience,
Absolutely. Yes.
the exact same experience. And when you talk about sleeping, like in the kitchen and all that,
Stop
my
it.
family when they arrived, they purchased a home, right? So the house was then passed down to my uncle. Well, I had been in the house, but just out of respect, as kids, we never went upstairs. We were just always in the downstairs part of the house. So when my aunt had to go into assisted living, and we actually went into the house to help clean up and do stuff, I went upstairs. The rooms were so small, and there were five of them.
Yep.
There were five people. There was one bedroom, which was obviously my great grandparents, and two other bedrooms for five people.
Yeah.
And they were
No.
small. They were like closets.
Yeah, but they were happy. They were content
Yeah.
because they had something to their name. They worked for it. They saw the results of their hard work. But I mean, they got up early in the morning and
Yeah.
they suffered a lot. I mean, I heard a story from this gentleman I met in Toronto, actually. He was like in his 80s. And he was
Mm,
telling me a story that when he was working, his boss was cheating him from his paycheck. He would always like remove a couple of dollars and a couple of dollars.
mm,
So the man back then was younger. He punched him. He got physical with his boss, saying, "You're ripping me off. I'm working
right.
40 hours a week. You're giving me $5 less." And back then, $5 was a lot. So the business owner, his boss, called the cops. And
Mm,
thank God, I don't know, the police officer was Italian. And when he explained, he's like,
mm,
"Well, I don't know, but he's stealing from me. I'm working.
right.
I'm a hardworking man, and he's taking money from me."
Mm.
Well, his boss got arrested. So,
Right.
he stood up for himself. But I mean,
Which is
it's just an example of how difficult it was for them to fend for themselves. And they couldn't
yeah.
say like, "Oh, forget it, I'm going to quit and go somewhere else." It was that or starve.
Right. Yeah. No, my aunt talked a lot of stories where she was discriminated against in school, made fun of, the foods that they brought to school to eat, when they packed lunches. And I actually read a book. Now, I'm not like putting a plug in for this book or anything, but it was years ago. I read a book that was called "Were You Always an Italian?" And it was a really good book that talked about the past generation when they came here, what they suffered and endured, and how most of those kids, which were my grandparents' age, would be my grandparents' age now, they didn't want to be Italian.
No, no,
Outside of the house,
and
they did not want to be Italian.
I also know for a fact that Italian families, when they had children, when the first born American generation, they refused to teach them the Italian language so they
Hmm.
wouldn't have the accent, so they
Yeah.
wouldn't be discriminated against. And this is why today they're all in their 40s and 50s. They regret not learning the language, but back then that was the choice, because if you had an Italian accent, you were going to be discriminated
Yeah.
against. So
Right.
this is why the parents refused to teach them their mother tongue, so to protect their kids of what they were
Hmm.
going through.
Right.
And I hear a lot of stories. I mean, I have a lot of followers, and I get comments, private
Hmm.
comments, and these are true facts that they lived through, and saying, when they grew up and asked their parents, "Well, why didn't you teach me the dialect or the language or Italian?" Oh, because back then it wasn't a good thing to
Yeah.
be Italian. So I mean, although you are proud, you had to keep it a secret in order to be able to survive.
Yeah. Right. And I think Frank Cooking or somebody asked, it was the book is called Were You Always in Italian? Is what the name of the book was. Yeah.
Okay,
Were You Always in Italian? And reiterating what you said, I think it's time. Unfortunately, the older generation is no longer with us. We're losing them,
yeah,
Um, but if they're if you still have them around, ask them to share these stories. It's difficult. They may not like to, and in my family it was very difficult. But my aunt specifically knew that I was so in love with the culture she
Yeah.
would share some of these stories with me. And I just think it's time that these other generations we don't lose sight of that,
No,
because
absolutely not.
yeah,
You're
they
right.
suffered a lot and they sacrificed a lot for us.
Yes, absolutely. We need to be remembered so that we can appreciate what they worked for to give us.
Hmm.
For us not to live through what they lived through, for us to have
Right.
a better life. I mean, they could have very well stayed in the homeland and starved to death, but they decided, no, I'm going to take a chance, buy a
Right.
ticket, and make it better. So, I mean, we have to be grateful, and you can't be grateful for something you don't know about. So, it's good to talk about it. And yeah, if your grandparents or your parents are still living, please bring up the
Hmm.
subject. I mean, my dad, like I said, he's in his 90s and he's always talking about stories. He tells me ton, but it's interesting to sit and talk with him because I get to feel and hear what he went through and
Hmm.
all the difficulties. I mean, yeah, now we have a house, we have this, we have that, but back then he
Right.
had to walk everywhere. He didn't know which bus to take. He didn't know the
Mm-mm.
language. It was very, very hard for them. So we take it for
Yeah.
granted because we're born here. But can you imagine someone going to a foreign land and trying to adapt and being discriminated against,
Right.
among all other things? So it's commendable for what they've done and what they've
Hmm.
accomplished, but we also have to be a little bit more empathetic and show a
Hmm.
bit of compassion towards the new immigrants,
Right.
thinking that could have been my grandfather, that could have been my father, that could have
Exactly.
been. So,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I would like to challenge everybody to, if they don't already, sort, get to know an immigrant, an immigrant family, really get
yeah.
to know them, because even individuals within my family, some of them had sort of a preconceived notion about immigrants today,
Mhm.
but being able to actually meet these families through me, it changed their whole perspective.
Absolutely. Because you hear
So,
the story firsthand. It's not
right.
hearsay, it's what they're going through, it's what they're living through. And it will change your judgment and your perception of why they're here. Some are refugees, some are here for a better life.
Hmm.
Some people come from countries where there's war and their life is literally in danger.
Right.
So, I mean, this is the land of opportunity. The borders are open for immigration. So, why should we not embrace it and give them that benefit of the doubt to say, yeah, they're here to make a better life?
Right. Yeah.
Franco cooking, we build and straighten people when we had to. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Italian community was very, very tight. They were tight knit. I mean,
Hmm.
immigrants would come and they would all live in the same neighborhood. They all had each
Yep.
other's backs, and that's the same thing now with other nationalities. They stick together and they associate with each other and they help each other out. But it's nice what you're doing, that you're extending a hand to
Hmm.
help them, even though they're not your nationality. They're other nationalities, but
Right.
nonetheless, they're immigrants, just like your grandparents were. So it's
Hmm.
very nice of you to do that and dedicate yourself to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy it, and I think obviously living in another country helped. I mean,
Yeah,
you get somewhere and you know nothing. I mean, I arrived to the second largest city in the world, and I knew nothing.
yeah,
No language, nothing. So, and I even, like you said, they come to another country, they don't speak the language. I mean, years ago, my grandparents would say we would send letters, or letters would come, and a month ago somebody had passed away. They were
yeah,
finding out about this way past the fact. And when I went to Sicily for the first time and saw, you know, the Mediterranean Sea, the hills, just the topography, everything, I thought to myself, that had to be a change. I mean, it's cold here. It's snowy. There's no ocean. The foods that they were probably even used to eating, as far as the seafood type dishes, where were they going to get that here?
no, no, that's it.
So,
And even the spices or whatever they were used to over there, probably here had a different name or they couldn't
right.
find it, so they had to modify their recipes just to adapt to the place.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing. I'm in quite a few Italian American or Italian recipe groups on Facebook, and people will start saying this dish is not Italian, that's not authentic Italian, but it's like, okay, when they came here, there probably wasn't access to certain spices, ingredients, and so they adapted to what they had
That's
at that
right.
time.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Well, I want to thank you very much. Do you want to add anything else?
no, that's it. Thanks for having me. Keep up
Well,
the good work. Yeah.
thank you very much for being my
Uh,
guest tonight. Thank you for raising awareness on being empathetic towards the immigrants and not being so
sure.
judgmental. Because I mean, we're immigrants too. I mean, we're
Right.
descendants of immigrants, so we should have a bit more compassion. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing that you brought it up. And I want to thank you very much for being my guest tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you. Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
ciao. Bye.
So there you go, guys. We have to always remember where we come from. Hi, Lucy Russo. Hi from Toronto. Thank you to both of you. Yes, Franco. We have to be more compassionate. I'm all about kindness and compassion and giving back, but we always have to remember our roots in the sense, not just the motherland or where we're from, but also why we're here. I mean, our ancestors, I can say ancestors because I don't know if it's your grandparents, your great grandparents, or your parents that immigrated. They came here with a suitcase and not even 2 cents to rub together to make a better life. And they didn't know if they were going to make it or not. They didn't know if they were going to not succeed and go back with empty hands. But they strived and they struggled and they made it. And thanks to them, we have a good life. Thanks to them, we live better. Yes, now Italy has evolved too, and they're doing very well down there too. But back then, after the wars, there was famine, there was disease, there was so much against them, and they had to take a boat ride for what, 40 days just to get here by boat. There was no plane. I mean, forget about buying a plane ticket. They were lucky they got a boat ticket, and they made it. They made it. So today, it's a different generation and a different time for immigration. And it might not be all Italians, because now the Italians, whoever immigrated stayed and whoever didn't stayed over there. But now it's a different nationality. It's their time. It's the Hispanics. It's the Muslims. It's the Haitians, the Jamaicans. It's all these other countries that are trying to do what our parents did. So let's not discriminate, let's not judge, and let's not assume. Let's not judge on assumptions. Like I said, yes, there is probably a small minority that do it for the money because the government just gives hands out, not handouts, but the government is more accommodating. I mean, you're an immigrant, they'll help you get lodging, they'll help you get clothing, they'll help you get a job. But I mean, that's not the reason why they're here. Get the full story, get to know them, because I'm sure most of them are here for a reason, and the reason is either their life was in danger or they couldn't survive where they were. So, so that's it. Thank you, guys. Everyone's wishing me a happy anniversary. I want to thank you all very much. It's been quite an eventful day. I just want to remind everybody to love each other, be kind, pay it forward, do a good deed if you can. And next week, I will have another guest, another interesting guest. If you've noticed, I posted that today I got a beautiful, relaxing, and renewing, re-energized facial. And I will have Sonia on next week from Bliss Beauty and Wellness. I will be discussing with her her treatments, what she offers, and the benefits of the treatments that she offers. She has a red light that rejuvenates and helps with eliminating toxins from your body. Anyway, we'll get into that next week. I want to thank you all very much for being part of my live audience. I do this for you, for your information, your entertainment, and I thank you always. I started this back in May. I'm on episode 34 and going strong, so I'm very happy about that. And I'll keep doing it as long as you guys encourage me and I get feedback that you're enjoying it. So I want to thank you all very much for being part of my audience. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Big Mama Siciliana. Learn Sicilian one word at a time. I post a video every second day just to keep it alive and spice it up a little. So my stew goats. Okay, let's see. Somebody wants to join. Let's see. I was gonna end it, but somebody wants to come on. So let's see. Let's see if they're gonna come on. Hello there.
Hey, my Stugat's here. What's up?
Yeah. Not much. How are you?
Hey, my wife's Sicilian. She loves you. My sister-in-law, they adore you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My sister-in-law loves you. My wife's here. You want to talk to my wife? Honey, come
here. Sure. But I don't see nothing.
Hey, My wife's Sicilian. I'm Calabrese. Calabrese #1.
Yeah, Calabrese c'ha la testadura, but Sicilians are even hard-headed.
I don't know. Here, honey, come here. Venica. Here, wait, Aspet. I gotta go get her. Aspet. I gotta get her. Ay, come here. Come here, putana. Venica. Venica. I'm chasing her in the house. Look. I gotta chase her. Hey, come here. Where you going? Say hi.
She's camera shy. She's camera shy. Hi, salutamu.
Look how beautiful she is.
Okay, Dominic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Hey, good luck. Happy anniversary to you, eh?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay,
Always
ciao,
a pleasure.
Okay,
ciao, ciao.
Bye.
See? How do you close this?
I have no idea. I mean, I got hey, I can do a lot of things, but I can't make the stupid thing work. Here,
Oh,
you know what?
my God.
Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom too now. Manaya,
Oh, no. Don't bring me in the bathroom. Don't bring me in the bathroom with
No,
you.
I stopped doing that. Thank you. Hey, good my ciao, eh?
No problem. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Oh, there it is. Okay, he's gone. Thank God. I didn't want to go in the bathroom with him. So, let's see all this. On YouTube, there's a cartoon, all Sicilian, Catanese. It's called the Catania e Dintorni. It's hilarious. Okay, well, guys, go check it out. But also, please, follow me on Instagram. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Mama Siciliana. Learn Sicilian one word at a time. I appreciate all the support that I'm getting, all the feedbacks. If you have a topic you want to discuss, just like Vincenzo did tonight, please reach out to me, send me a DM, and I will I'll pencil you into my agenda, and you can be on my live. You can be a guest. Or if there's something you want to talk about, but you're too camera shy, just like it's a Stucazzo's wife, then you can tell me all about it, and I'll discuss it as a monologue, just to, reach out to everyone. And I want to give everybody a chance to speak what's on their mind and talk about their opinions, their thoughts, and what have you. So thank you very much. Thank you, Franco Cooking. Thank you, everyone, for being on my live. I will always be open and willing to have anyone on my show, on my lives, whether you're a business owner, whether you have a topic you want to discuss, whether you want to talk about an opinion. As long as it's not politics or religion, I'd like to stay away from that. But anything else, especially during these times, if you are a business owner, please reach out to me and I'll have you on my live. It'll give you publicity. It'll put you out there. You can talk about your products, how you started out. And most importantly, is how people can contact you so they can place their orders or order out or get it delivered or what have you. But just to raise awareness of how important local businesses are, especially the small local business, the mom and pop shops. Those are very important because they keep the unity, they keep that homey feeling, and it just makes you feel warm inside. There's Sweets Montreal, there's Assunta's Table, there's Uncle Joey's Catering. There's so many. I mean, if I start naming them all, I'll never finish. There's Mr. Bignolati. Oh my God, he's amazing. There's Nutella Delights, which I posted on Saturday, I think it was. They're amazing. And these are all mom and pop shops. They work from home. They try their best to put out a product for everyone to enjoy. So please support local. And thank you, Sweets Montreal. I'm all about supporting local. There's so many shops that you can go to rather than, buying it from a big chain store, because they're already rich. Yes, amazing Nutella cookies. Yes, Nutella Delights. She's got the touch. She's got the touch. She got Nonna's recipe, and let me tell you, she's got the touch. They are fresh and delicious. You would not believe that it was a young lady that made them. You would think a nonna made them. That's how good they are. So if you're in Montreal, contact Nutella Cookies, not Nutella Cookies, but Nutella Delights. And she's such a sweet young lady. I was so happy to meet her. And she doesn't skimp on the Nutella. No, she doesn't. Yes, Manu Cauchi. She does not skimp on the Nutella. I mean, when you bite, every bite has Nutella on it. So it's very, very good. And Uncle Joey's Catering. He does the bomboloni. He does the cartocci. He does the cannolis. He does everything. Plus, he caters full meals for you. And he'll come and deliver as well. He's also a paisano. He's a Cataluchisi. And so please support local. It's very, very important now more than ever, because when everything opens up, these are the guys that we're going to go support. These are the guys that have been there for us. So they need us just as much as we need them. So please support your local. If you're not in Montreal, support your local wherever you are, whether you're in New York, you're in the States, you're in Boston, you're in Ohio, you're in Illinois, you're in Australia, you're in Europe. It doesn't matter. Wherever you know about or you know of a local mom and pop shop that's, you know, a small business, please support them. It's very, very important. Stacy Vuladakis. Hi, Stacy. Stacy is one of my greatest followers and biggest fans. She's a student at Galileo. Hi, Stacy. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of this tonight. Leah, can you send positive thoughts for my mother-in-law? She's in Corleone and has COVID. Oh, my gosh. Yes. So let's all pray for Manu Cauchi's mother-in-law who is fighting COVID. Let us pray that she comes out of it and she fights it and that she'll be okay. My prayers and thoughts are with you and your family during this time. It's the hardest time because you can't even visit her. You can't even be by her side. But let's be positive and pray that she will be okay and she'll fight it and she'll come home soon. And hopefully this thing that's going on for the past year will be over sooner rather than later. So everyone, please be safe. I wish you all a very good evening. Again, join me next week. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. E come sempre, ci vediamo presto. Salutamu, everybody.